What happens when real celebrities collide with the strangest future on TV? Futurama turns fame into fuel for comedy. Let's begin with the political zombie who found new life in the 31st century. President Richard Nixon's head. A head in the polls. Season 2, Episode 3. Futurama never pulled punches when mocking politicians, and no one took a bigger beating than Richard Nixon's head. It all begins during the Earth presidential election, where both candidates are identical clones. The Planet Express crew couldn't care less about politics, but Bender finds a new way to make money. A mining accident sends titanium prices soaring, and since his body is 40% titanium, he decides to pawn it off for quick cash.
My body's 40% titanium! I'm finally richer than those snooty ATM machines!
Now reduced to a head sitting on a pile of money, he feels richer and emptier than ever. Later, Bender visits the Head Museum, where he meets preserved US presidents, including Richard Nixon. When Bender asks how much it costs to live there, George Bush's head smugly replies,
"Sorry, Bender, but we just can't allow every Tom, Dick, and Harry to move in. No offense, Jefferson, Nixon, and Truman."
It's classic Futurama humor. One joke, 3 presidents roasted at once. When the other heads ask how Bender lost his body, Nixon starts reminiscing about his own. He calls it a flabby, pasty snake, and admits life without a body is sad and lonely, before adding, with that famous sneer, "I like to kick 'em when they're down."
That's my style. I like to kick 'em when they're down.
It's a perfect reflection of Nixon's ruthless image, a man who would literally kick the world if given the chance. But Bender soon realizes that without a body, he is meaningless. The next day, when Bender returns to the pawn shop to buy his body back, he discovers it's been sold for just $50. Crushed, he heads home, only to see Nixon on TV proudly showing off Bender's body and announcing,
I'm throwing my head into the ring. I'm announcing my candidacy for the presidency of Earth.
When a reporter reminds him no one can be elected twice, Nixon grins and replies,
No body, but as you can plainly see, I've got a shiny new body.
Then, to make things worse, he starts playing guitar and declares, I'm not a crook's head. At the next debate, Nixon stands confused, sweating through the questions, blurting nonsense and dodging answers, a living punchline to his own political legacy. Yet somehow he still radiates confidence, convinced he can rule the universe again. When Bender confronts him, Nixon refuses to give the body back, taunting them instead.
I paid for this body, and I'd no sooner return it than I would my little cocker spaniel dog Checkers.
Fry pleads for decency, but Nixon just laughs, mocking them before growling,
Now beat it before I get Cambodian on your asses.
A dark jab at his real-life scandals. Later that night, Fry and Leela sneak into Nixon's suite at the Watergate Hotel to steal Bender's body. Leela carefully removes Nixon's head from the robot torso, but the old crook wakes up mid-heist, snarling in fury. What follows is pure chaos. 2 disembodied heads, Nixon and Bender, growling and snapping at each other like rabid dogs fighting over a stolen bone, while Leela tries to keep them apart. Leela finally shouts,
The voters of Earth aren't the pea-brained idiots they were back in your time.
But Nixon's grin only widens. With that same menacing rasp, he growls,
But your average voter is as drunk and stupid as ever. The only one who's changed is me.
Then, eyes blazing, he launches into one of the darkest rants ever spoken by a cartoon head.
I'll sell our children's organs to zoos for meat, and I'll go into people's houses at night and wreck up the place.
The show doesn't just mock him, it tears into his image, exposing a man who thrives on control, chaos, and fear. Even as a severed head, Futurama's Nixon proves he's still the same scheming politician who would burn the world just to sit on its ashes. Despite everything, Nixon still wins, and his head is now mounted on a massive war robot body, smashing through the White House walls in victory. Futurama turned one of America's most infamous leaders into a recurring cartoon villain, mixing sharp history and biting humor with precision. Moving from dirty deals to deep space, the show sets its sights on a new target, the legends of Star Trek, where no fan has gone before. Season 4, Episode 11. Futurama never missed a chance to roast a celebrity, and where no fan has gone before took that to warp speed. This episode doesn't just feature the cast of Star Trek, it traps them, humiliates them, and turns their own legacy into the punchline. It all starts when Fry learns that Star Trek has been banned in the 31st century. People loved it so much that it literally became a religion, forcing the government to outlaw it after something called the Star Trek Wars. Outraged, Fry steals Leonard Nimoy's head from the museum and demands answers about the missing cast. At first, Nimoy plays innocent, but Fry keeps pushing until he admits the truth. The crew left Earth long ago, including none other than William Shatner, the one and only Captain Kirk. Fry, Leela, and Bender fly to the forbidden planet Omega-3, where the lost Star Trek episodes are rumored to be stored. Leela warns him to turn back, but Fry insists Star Trek taught him everything about life. When they land, they find something between a junkyard and a shrine. Old props, costumes, and entire sets scattered across the landscape. Even stranger, the original cast, Shatner, Nimoy, George Takei, Nichelle Nichols, and Walter Koenig are all still alive and young again. Shatner struts around, bragging that they're treated like royalty, but when a booming voice echoes through the sky, every actor freezes in terror.
It is I! Whoa, what a cheesy effect!
That voice belongs to Malvar, a glowing energy being and obsessive fan who worships the original series. He threatens anyone who talks back. He even gives Nimoy a full body again, proudly declaring,
Tremble before my encyclopedic knowledge of Star Trek!
When Fry challenges him to a trivia contest to prove who the biggest fan is, the scene collapses into chaos. Malvar doesn't care about logic, he only wants control. His next order is pure nightmare fuel. The crew will spend eternity performing his fan fiction scripts. And that's when the real roast begins. During rehearsal, Shatner's ego takes over the room. He starts praising himself more than the script. At one point, he proudly says,
And when I directed Star Trek V, I got a magnificent performance out of me because I respected me so much.
It's an on-screen mirror of his real-life reputation. Self-absorbed, dramatic, and completely unaware of how ridiculous he sounds. The show turns Shatner's legendary arrogance into living satire, poking fun at a man who can't stop being his own biggest fan. Things spiral when Malvar decides the ultimate test of devotion is a fight to the death between the Star Trek cast and the Planet Express crew. In true Kirk fashion, Shatner rips off his shirt mid-battle and yells,
Wasn't there an episode where I threw my shoe at the enemy?
Before actually throwing a shoe at Leonard Nimoy's face. It's a perfect parody of his over-the-top heroism, half bravado, half nonsense. The fight turns into pure chaos, with everyone swinging, shouting, and tripping over props. It's Star Trek meets a reality TV meltdown. Just then, Leela and Shatner face off in a full-on brawl. Shatner charges at her like he's back on the Enterprise, but Leela blocks every move with ease. She knocks him down, pins him to the ground, and raises a rock above his head, ready to crush him. Shatner, realizing he's completely outmatched, suddenly switches tone, his voice calm, his ego intact, and declares,
We're just pawns in this diabolical game of checkers. Can't we resolve our differences some other way?
Then, in one of the funniest twists in Futurama history, Malvar's mother bursts in. She scolds him and drags him home like a grounded child. After the chaos, Leela and Shatner take a moment to, well, celebrate survival. The scene cuts to Shatner covered in lipstick while Leela looks far too proud of herself. It's absurd, cringy, and somehow still charming. A perfect reminder that Futurama can even turn romance into parody. When the group finally escapes Malvar, they have to toss their bodies out of the ship to make it lighter. Yes, really. And only their heads survive. It's absurd, tragic, and hilarious all at once. In the end, Futurama gives the Star Trek cast a strange kind of tribute. It mocks their egos, their fandom, and their endless conventions, but it also celebrates what made them legends. Still, no one gets roasted harder than William Shatner, the man who turned every line into a monologue and somehow still made fun of himself better than anyone else could. Up next, the show takes on celebrity obsession in the most ridiculous way possible. I Dated a Robot, Season 3, Episode 15. Futurama never hesitated to turn celebrity worship into comedy. And I Dated a Robot took that obsession to ridiculous extremes. This time, the show brings in Lucy Liu, not as herself, but as a robot copy downloaded from the internet. What begins as Fry's goofy wish to date a celebrity quickly spirals into one of the sharpest parodies of fame, fandom, and the way pop culture turns real people into digital toys. Fry gets restless and complains that everyone at Planet Express has gotten boring. It's the year 3000, he says. Why aren't we doing all the things I ever dreamed of?
Why aren't we out doing everything I ever dreamed of?
Leela sighs but agrees to humor him, suggesting they help Fry cross off every fantasy on his list. Their first stop is Sal's Wrecking Company, where Fry gleefully lives out his lifelong dream of destroying an entire planet. From there, the crew takes him to the edge of the universe, and even arranges a ride on a living dinosaur, just because he can. But when those adventures end, Fry admits there's still one fantasy left. He always wanted to date a celebrity. Leela, half amused and half exasperated, tells him that in the future, even that's possible. You can literally download a celebrity from the internet, she says.
You can download a celebrity's personality and appearance into a blank robot.
And that single line sends Fry down one of Futurama's strangest, funniest rabbit holes yet. So Fry and Leela literally dive into the internet and land on a shady site called Napster.com, where users can download a celebrity's personality into a blank robot body. Fry scrolls through the options, starstruck, and chooses Lucy Liu, 2003 model. Professor Farnsworth downloads her file, and within seconds, a lifelike Lucy Liu robot appears, smiling and saying, "You're one sexy man," before jumping into Fry's arms and kissing him.
Fill up, J. Fry.
It's both hilarious and humiliating. A sharp jab at how fame turns real people into digital products. Lucy Liu, a real-world icon of talent and confidence, is reduced to a flirty, obedient clone built to please. The episode mocks the way pop culture and technology strip celebrities of agency, turning them into fantasies you can literally buy, download, and program to love you. Soon, Fry and Lucy are seen everywhere together, laughing, cuddling, and acting like a perfect couple. Or really like a guy who just bought a robot programmed to adore him and treat him like royalty. At first, Fry is over the moon. He strolls around town with his Liubot like he's dating an A-list star, showing her off to everyone who will look. Watching this, the crew decides it's time to set Fry straight. They show him a cautionary file about the dangers of dating robots, but Fry ignores every warning and keeps kissing his robot girlfriend. So Leela, Bender, and Zoidberg head to Napster's headquarters to complain. The company denies everything, claiming they've done nothing wrong. But then, faint cries echo from the back room. When they check, they discover the truth. Real celebrity heads are being held captive without consent, including Lucy Liu, imprisoned for over 800 years. Horrified, Leela steals Lucy's head to free her, and in retaliation, the company unleashes an army of Lucy Liu robot clones to stop them. The crew runs for cover and ends up in a movie theater, where Fry is on a date with his Liubot. They try to explain the truth that he's kissing a stolen copy, but Fry refuses to believe them. Soon, the clones attack, chaos breaks out, and the crew somehow manages to win. In the end, only Fry's Liubot remains. He refuses to let her go, until the real Lucy Liu's head speaks softly.
If you love the real Lucy Liu, you'll blank out that robot.
With teary eyes, Fry shuts her down, freeing her image at last. Just as he sighs,
And I guess now, maybe, I can get to know the real Lucy Liu.
Bender cuts in, holding Lucy's head, and proudly declares they're marrying. The real Lucy Liu admits they are and kisses him, proving that in Futurama, even romance is a punchline. The episode hilariously mocks Lucy Liu by turning her from a real, confident actress into a downloadable fantasy girlfriend who exists only to flatter men. It's a sharp parody of how Hollywood and fan culture often reduce women to digital dolls instead of real people. Finally, the roasts leave Hollywood behind and head straight into madness, as Professor Farnsworth's new invention rewrites the laws of reality itself. Anthology of Interest, Season 2, Episode 16. Futurama has always loved putting real celebrities in the strangest situations, and Anthology of Interest takes that to another level. Instead of talk shows or red carpets, these stars end up inside Professor Farnsworth's wild new invention, the What If machine. It starts with the professor showing off his new gadget, a device that answers any question by revealing what would happen, no matter how insane. One by one, the crew asks their questions, and the machine turns normal moments into pure chaos, with real-life icons getting caught right in the middle. Fry's question sounds simple, but quickly becomes dangerous. What if he had never been frozen? The screen flashes, and we're thrown into an alternate timeline. In this version, Fry misses his cryogenic freezing accident and keeps living his regular life in 1999. But things get weird fast. Sitting at the next table is none other than Stephen Hawking. He's half slumped in his motorized chair, calmly using his robotic voice box to speak. Fry keeps pestering him with clueless questions until even Hawking loses patience. In his flat computer tone, he tells Fry to toss the pizza in the garbage and rolls away, the ultimate burn from one of the smartest men in the universe. But Fry doesn't get the hint. As he walks outside, Hawking's agents suddenly appear, grab him and tie him up. When Fry wakes up, he's face to face with a very unusual rescue team. The Vice Presidential Action Rangers, led by none other than Al Gore. Yeah, the real Al Gore. Introducing himself as the defender of the space-time continuum. His team is a nerd's dream lineup. Stephen Hawking, Star Trek's Nichelle Nichols, and Dungeons & Dragons creator Gary Gygax. Together, they guard the timeline from cosmic disasters. Or at least try to. They explain to Fry that his freezing was supposed to happen, and because it didn't, the entire universe is now falling apart. Their mission is to try put him back in the cryotube and restore the flow of time. Al Gore tries to sound noble and presidential, raising his hand and saying,
"No, wait! There must be a peace."
But before he can finish, Nichelle Nichols shoves him aside and snaps, "Forget peace." She pushes Fry straight toward the tube, sending Gore tumbling to the ground in the process. It's a perfect insult to his overly cautious image. The man who once ran for president, now flat on the floor while an actress from Star Trek takes command of the universe. They hold Fry down while Stephen Hawking, still in his wheelchair, rolls forward and drives the wheels right across Fry's face again and again. The show twists Hawking's calm, robotic image into pure absurdity, turning one of history's greatest minds into a literal running gag on wheels. Of course, everything goes wrong. The plan backfires, time itself collapses, and the entire universe disappears. The once grand team of geniuses ends up floating in a blank white void. No planets, no stars, just endless nothing. Stuck there forever, they do what any true nerds would do. Start a game of Dungeons & Dragons. Gore proudly declares himself a 10th level president, proving that even at the end of time, he's still running for office. This episode turns Al Gore's clean, serious reputation into pure comedy gold. Instead of giving climate speeches, he's battling time paradoxes with a physicist, an actress, and a dungeon master, and still losing. Futurama pokes fun at his self-image as protector of the planet by making him protector of the universe, and he still can't save it. Futurama has one mission. No celebrity is too powerful to parody. Presidents lose elections, heroes lose their shirts, and geniuses lose their minds, all in the name of comedy. Which roast was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.